Hey you all, welcome back to my channel. It's lamirza here. So today we are going to talk about Saturn Retrograde, and I'm going to start with the general things what you need to know about the Saturn Retrograde before we are going through the houses. So let's go. So Saturn Retrograde, for the general things, the most important thing that you will notice is repetitive events, and there is a lot of a tough time that you will face. When I say tough time, it is not only about being materialistically, but this can also represent if the placement is showing having tough time with gaining the spiritual wisdom and you're gaining the spiritual knowledge or whatever it is also can represent that one. And another thing is the toxic feminine and masculine energy, the yin and yang energy according to the nakshatras. Whichever nakshatra Saturn is retrograde in your birth chart, read about that nakshatra because it will show where you are lacking and where you need to strengthen the energy between the yin or yang, sometimes both. So that's another thing. After the age of 36, 42, 48 are the most transformative phase of your life. This is for the people who have Saturn retrograde, especially if it continues to your Navamsha, which is Virgotama and still retrograde. So this can represent your karma is going to be in a very long term, and this can also represent for the people who have this type of placement, which is continue the same from the birth chart to the Navamsha. It can represent there is so many repetitive events can happen in your life for you to learn the lesson, and it can goes in a very long term phase, very long term of never ending cycle of your karma. So this is why you need to be very, very careful of what you are doing. Even the word that you are uttering to the other people, sometimes in a place of a jealousy or in a place of a hate, or even just in a moment of your anger, this can result you have to pay price for that one. So that's one thing. So don't have expectations from your hard work, as it will give reverse result. Be the servant even if being in the position of CEO. So this obviously represents for the transit of Saturn retrograde. When it happens in a transit, it's a different result. But if it happens in your birth chart, then it represents it definitely you are paying off from your past life karma. So you really need to think about that one. And this can also represent the more you have expectations from your hard work, the more Saturn will be giving reverse result. He won't give very much the result that you are having. For example, you put your expectations here and the result will be here. And whenever you are having whenever you're putting that expectations most of the time for all your work, I mean we all do, but that's why we are working. Whenever we are working, we tend to put our expectations, and then the result will be here. So you can get frustration out of it. That's one thing. So even though being a CEO, you holding any position in your life, make sure you are respecting everyone, because Saturn here mostly it represents servant, and you are serving others. There's no other way around. If you have people who are working for you, respect them. Don't ever disrespect or making a joke, or you are making fun of their positions, of their work, or whatever it is. It will definitely come back to you. So the more wishes, goals, and expectations of fame, name, and appreciation from career, the more you get declined by Saturn. The hard work may go in and not worth it. So most of the time I have listened this one. Saturn delays, not decline, or Saturn, it's like Saturn just delays the work, but sometimes Saturn do decline. Sometimes Saturn won't give you that result that you are expecting, simply because it is not meant for you. You are meant for something else. So that is one thing about Saturn retrograde here. And also this can represent Saturn may want you to focus on your path. If you are in a different path, or you are in a wrong path, or you are focusing onto something else which you are supposed not to, or not really aligning with your karma, Saturn declines. Saturn definitely declines that, and that is where you will see a lot of frustration will come up with this Saturn retrograde in your birth chart. And if it continues with the Navamsha, it is more harder. So if you have Saturn in own signs such as Scorpio, Aquarius, Capricorn, specifically Scorpio and Aquarius will give sudden transformation. I mean, transformation is exactly about Scorpio. So people who have retrograde Saturn, especially in Scorpio and Aquarius, you will see these people will have very, very sudden transformation, especially at the age of 36. It will completely transform their life forever. So this is the Saturn retrograde. And also instant karma regardless of house due to its reverse, so it doesn't delay but instant. So yeah, even though Saturn, it represents slowness and delays, but when it comes to karma, if you did something wrong to someone within days or even sometimes hours, who knows, it can happen in your life, like instantly Saturn will give that karma to you if you really did wrong to someone. Saturn retrograde general things. So now let's go for the each houses. So Saturn through the houses, Saturn retrograde. So another thing before I continue, make sure all the retrograde series, make sure you are checking the present wherever it sits. For example, if your Saturn retrograde is sitting in the first house, you have to check the second house as well, and the previous house, which is 12th house, past and your future. So this is how it represents. So you have to check all these three houses wherever your retrograde planet sits. So let's go for the first house. Saturn retrograde in the first house. This obviously represents extreme transformation, which is mentally, emotionally, physically. All areas of your life will be having that transformation. These are the people you will see probably in their childhood. They will have different life, and then their teenage, they will be having some different life, and then adulthood, different life, and their old age, different life, completely different from one another. They won't have much of similarities there. So this can also represent all areas of life will have transformation for them. They will have transformation after transformation, especially if they are having Saturn Mahadasha very early, young in their life, early age. They will going to face a lot of lesson, a lot of upcoming events, a lot of transformation, which can make them tougher but at the same time painful. So it's not the easiest to have Saturn retrograde and then going through the Mahadasha earlier in life. If this happened in the middle life, then I would say middle life crisis can happen. This can represent the person sometimes go out of their life path, and then doing something else they are not meant to do, and then they will learn their lesson and then get back into the track to do what they need to do. So Saturn will bring them back to their life path, what they are supposed to do. If this happen after the age of 36 or when they are nearing the 36, and after that it will become adulthood, and it also represents Saturn is matured, and this phase they will somehow learn to go through the life, the transformation, whatever it is, a bit easier rather than the other two phases before. So this can represent they will learn to never depend anyone in their life, and this is also like never depend on anyone, anything in this lifetime. They are meant to be here and done and clear off their karma by themselves. Nobody can help this person except you yourself. So this is the type of extreme we are talking about here for Saturn retrograde. And this can also represent this person for their entire life. This is about art of letting go and dissolving of egos. So probably in their early life they will have issues with letting go of materials in their life, or they tend to keep on gaining and they are collecting a lot of material pleasures and everything, and at one point they will find it struggle to let it go. So then they will learn their lesson and they will be like, okay, I'm not holding on to anything, anyone. I just came here to clear off my karma, and this I want to be ascend and go off. That's the lesson they will learn in their lifetime. And also in the first house, this can represent entire change of a look, not only just the physical, but as I said, a completely different look. For example, we will see people who have they have that child face, how they will look when they were younger. But this person, most of the time, they don't really have that. Even if they have, they will hide it. These are the people, especially for the man, you will see probably in their teenage until their middle life, they are coming into their 20s, even their 30s, they will not really have beard. And then suddenly, once they hit their 30s, they will grow their beard and they will look far more masculine than they used to be. Or in their early life they have beard and everything, and then suddenly after the 36 they tend to have very clean shaved face, and they don't really bother to really keep up with the masculine look or whatever it is, but they become neutral to the look and whatever it is. So this is the type of energies that you will see with the people who have Saturn retrograde in the first house. It's become very extreme at all sides of their life. They have to just go through it, and at one point they will just accept it because there's no other way to run away from Saturn. It is you who have to face it in this lifetime. That's why you have Saturn retrograde, especially in the first house. And directly it is looking at the seventh house, your partner, whoever that you are coming right in front of you, even the stranger, they are coming into your life to change, to completely bring a lesson. The lesson can be good and bad, so we can't just say it's a bad thing. So I would say accept it. It's your learning to go through whatever that you learn in this lifetime. The one good thing about retrograde planet is whatever that you learn in this lifetime, it's done. There's no repetition is going to come up for the next life, unless whatever that you karma that you did in this lifetime, probably you have to bring it on the next life. But most of the time retrograde planet, it means retrograde itself is already passed from the past, so you are meant to clear off in this lifetime. So it's clear, definitely it's done, and the burden is lift off from you in this lifetime. So that's one thing about Saturn retrograde here. So that's for the first house. So for the second house, it is a big karma and lesson transformation through your voice and material pursuits. Your goal and ambition will be tested by Saturn constantly. So this is one thing about second house. Second house can represent your material pleasures or whatever that you are gaining from the family that you are born into in this lifetime, and what are the assets, wealth, whatever that is coming up, or you have to build it by your own. You are not given, or you are not really coming with the material from the family that you are born into. So big karma and lesson is always going to transform with your throat chakra, and the words that you are going to utter, even one word, it is going to really have very big lessons it is bringing up in your life. So you gotta be very, very careful. Most of the time people who have Saturn retrograde here tend to have their career really revolve around their voice. For example, if it is celebrities, then their voice to make the movies, and then singers, and if we see in a corporate world, this can be this person working in a call center, and this person working as in a marketer, seller. They have to sell things, so you have to speak. When you speak, then only you can sell the things, or else Saturn won't really be much of he wouldn't be bothered here. So he's like, if you want to earn, you have to speak, you have to use your voice. This is the placement that most of the time, especially Saturn retrograde and Jupiter retrograde here, definitely shows. Saturn retrograde, Jupiter retrograde, Mercury retrograde. Most of the planets that is retrograde, if it is in a second house, it represents your voice. In your past life, you use your voice in a wrong way. So that's why in this lifetime you are coming back to rectify your mistakes and use your voice as a purpose, as a good purpose, to guide people, to help people, to motivate people. So that's the biggest lesson in your life you are here for. And this can also represent verbal fights can lead to big loss in life or career. So as I said, your voice really matters. One wrong word, because of your anger, you will lose everything in life. One word. These are the best example that I can show, that Saturn retrograde here, always he will test the way you deliver your speech, the way you talk to someone, the way your intonation, the way you speak, the way you are delivering certain words, how you are talking to others. Everything, every single word that you utter carries heavy karma and dharma. So be very, very careful with that one. So values will change over time. So don't involve in gossip. So this is the one placement I would say. Don't get involved in the gossip or talking back about someone, or having that useless conversation. Just avoid it. Try to avoid it as much as you can. Most of the time, Saturn will actually teach a lesson to you through something that involving gossip or whatever it is, and then you will change completely. And this can also represent your values will change over time. For example, when in your early life, the value were different, and then in your later life, your value is getting different. So this is how you will see the values in your life will be changing by the age, by your experience and your wisdom that you are gaining in this lifetime. So that's for second house. And now third house. Third house, this represents your courage, and self-confidence will gain over time. Humiliation and insult can happen in early life. So this can represent, third house represents your self-effort, and also whatever that you are doing in this lifetime, you have to put the effort. And Saturn will help you through that way. When you put the effort, Saturn will help. If you are not putting the effort, Saturn is not really going to help you. So it's everything about you. Bully and no strength to fight. So in early life, there can be bully happen in your life, and you probably won't have that strength to fight back. But over time, you will actually grow older and more wiser and more experienced, more stronger, and that way you will stand up for the people who can fight for themselves. These are the placement that can shows. Over time, you will actually stand up for the less fortunate people and help them to fight the cause, fight any kind of things that is going on, and you will actually stand up for them. This can also represent buy small vehicle as for a start, even while you are earning good. Later, over time, you can get expensive vehicle, whichever you want. Okay, so this represents whenever you're starting small, even though you have a good earning, good salary, make sure you are starting very small. Don't, on the first try itself, or when you are getting a vehicle, you are getting a house, make sure don't go for a big one in a first try. But try from the small and then go big, big, big. That's the how it will consistently stay in your life, or else you will find it very hard, or Saturn will teach you lesson to not have that weakness, or to not have that how to say to not overboard whatever that you want, but may from the small to the big. So that's how this third house works for you. It's one thing about third house. And another thing, anything that creativity or whatever that art, hobbies, whatever it is, you have to put that effort. You have to find it, or you have to create your own hobby. You have to pursue your own hobby, your creativity, whatever it is, through your own effort, or else it will not make it, or it won't grow at all. That's for third house. So now Saturn retrograde in the fourth house. Your family life, early life won't be stable. Or probably this placement can represent maybe you are adopted in the family that you are in this lifetime, or you may not feel that connection with the family that you are born in this lifetime. There is a distance. There is I would say not stable, or there's no connection between you and the family that you are born into. But you are born into that family, or you are adopted into that family because of the fact you have to clear off karma with them. Especially you have Saturn retrograde in the fourth house. That's why you specifically having that placement, fourth house, and the previous house is second house. Previous house. No, third house. Third house, fourth house, fifth house. All these three houses you have to look into it. So 3, 4, 5. 3 is the right in front of the house, and then fifth house is the after. So this and fourth house. So this is how you have to read your chart, because retrograde represents all these three: your past, present, future. So this placement can represent you have major karma to clear off to whoever family, to whichever lineage, generation, whatever that you are born in this lifetime. You are meant to clear off that to that people, whoever that born as your family in this lifetime. You are meant to clear off your karma with them. That's why you're born in that family. So don't purchase house or will take later life to own a house and actually living in that house. Okay, so here's the thing. Don't purchase house when you start earning. I would say take a time, earn well, make a saving, and then purchase a house probably after your first Saturn return. That's how the house will stay with you. Or else, fourth house represents home and your home life and everything. So when you purchase a house, Saturn is activated here. So Saturn will give constant struggle, constant transformation, constant lesson when you bought a house, your own house. Or probably it will take a lot of struggle for you to actually purchase a house. So that's one thing. And another thing is give importance to agriculture, gardening, plantation, shastras, and classic study of history. So this house can represent previously in your life you may have humiliated or insulted anyone or any classic studies or education, whatever it is. That's why in this lifetime you are meant to actually rectify it, and you have to really respect and give importance for all of this related things of the fourth house, which is agriculture, gardening, plantation, shastras, classic studies of histories, and all of this because it represents, if you are disrespecting it, Saturn will never tolerate, and he will actually give you constant punishment and harder lessons in your life. So I would say, if if you have nothing to do with any of this, you don't want to do anything about all of this related things, then I would say be neutral rather than saying anything, and then face the karma of it. So another thing about fourth house is if you have siblings, if you have your father's side family, your mom's side family, if you are not really getting very well with them, you are not really having that strong bond with them, I would say try to keep it minimal conversations with them, or just keep it formal as a formality, rather than making it dramatic or gossiping or avoiding or ignorance. Rather avoid that one. Try to have a conversation. Unless the family is not really respecting you, or not really supporting you, or not really being bothered, then I would say it's better for you to actually step back and just mind your own business, rather than giving more of your time, more of your energy, and being disrespected. So that's the only thing I can think of, being neutral. But avoid, or don't ever disrespect, or don't ever utter a wrong word or get into arguments or whatever it is not necessary. It will actually make your karma being more worst. So that's for fourth house. So for the fifth house, Saturn being retrograde in the fifth house, your creativity and anything to do with having a child will require major learning and karma related to this. So this is the fifth house energy coming up, and Saturn retrograde here always shows you have major unfinished karma with your creativity, with the children, with your education and whatnot. And this can also represent if you have any talent, any creativity that you want to pursue, or you are into media line or entertainment industry. This actually requires a lot of effort for you to achieve in this line. And if you want to have a child, even adopt a child, it will require a lot of effort from you, not even your partner, but you, to actually have a child and raise them. So be ready for all of this. So mantra learning may seem not work early in life, but later in life, mantras will help you a lot. So fifth house also represents mantras, and whatever that you are chanting, it represents. So be careful whatever that you are learning mantras, and what mantra that you are actually chanting, it is going to help you a lot. Probably in your early life, Saturn retrograde may be very strong, but in your later life, after your first Saturn return, you will realize, or you will learn, that mantra actually helps you, and you are the people who can also tend to listen to mantras before you sleep, or when you are sleeping. It actually calms your mind and helps you a lot. And by chanting mantras like beach mantras, all of this will actually helps you a lot in your life. So that's one thing. So your education will resume back as well, your creativity in later life, or after your first Saturn return, or after your first childbirth. This is mostly for the women. If you're having a child, then after your first childbirth, you will definitely see a lot of improvement in your life. It will change. So with your education, you will probably never expected that you want to start your education. You will start your education, or you will resume to do your creativity, whatever that hobby is, probably dancing, painting, and singing, whatever it is that is related to the fifth house, you will resume back to do it. So for the man, this can represent your partner will be actually quite creativity, and your children will be very much creative, and you yourself, after the first childbirth, after the first Saturn return, you will see the changes, and you have to put the effort to continue the creativity and the whatever that you want to, even to chant mantras. You have to put the effort. You have to make a time, at least in a day, 5 minutes, 10 minutes for spiritual life of yours. So that's 5th house. So next is 6th house. Saturn retrograde here is your enemy wins. Any competition, don't get involved. That's not for you. You are here to mind your own business. So this is for the 6th house. 6th house energy is obviously your rival, your enemy, your competition, health issues, diseases. It's your karma that you need to clear off. So Saturn being here, obviously it's like double things double up. Like karma is coming up, so you must have to really clear it off in this lifetime. And another thing is for the 6th house, your enemy, whenever any enemy is coming up right in front of you, if you are not giving them any kind of attention, but you just mind your own business and doing your thing, it will actually get dissolved. Unless you get competitive with them, you give back any reply to them, or you are bothered by them, then yes, that's where the issues will start. So it's better you just do your work and let them be whoever they want to be. These placements can represent Saturn here. The moment that you just actually mind your own business, you just do your work and you don't give any kind of attention to the enemies or whoever trying to bring you down, Saturn will actually dissolve that enemies by defeat them. So that's the energy here. That's why I say don't bother about your enemies. Just let them be. You just focus on your life. And another thing is 6th house also represents your workout, your routine and whatever it is. So make sure you have your healthy routine. And I know it's kind of tough to go on, especially you are in a Saturn Mahadasha. Saturn will going to test you a lot with that. But please keep on going with that. Even as little as you can, keep with your routine and your consistency with your workout, your health and whatever it is. Invest on your health and focus on yourself. As I said, this is also the house of disease, so be very careful. Go check up yourself 6 months once, 3 months once, whatever it is. If you're not feeling well, always keep on check your health and focus on yourself. Focus on your food and diet. It is very important because this can also represent, can have very food issue. I wouldn't say food issue, it's more like food poisoning issues can happen here, and your diet can be inconsistent. So be very careful with that one. Focus on yourself. It will make your life better. So that's 6th house. 6th house mostly represents, people tend to think that it is about the karma and all about bad things. I wouldn't say that, especially malefic planets in the 6th house, it actually do more good than the bad things. So this house, as I say, focus on yourself. You are here to clear off your karma, and if another person, whoever coming in front of you, is trying to be compete with you or trying to really irritate you, whatever it is, don't focus on them. Focus on yourself. You just do mind your own business. That's the main theme about 6th house here. So that's for 6th house. 7th house, big relationship, karmic partnership. Lesson in life will change entire perception of the person. So this can, obviously 7th house, it represents your partner. So your partner is your biggest lesson, biggest karma, that they will change your life completely. And this can also represent, retrograde here can make you have memory loss issue if badly aspect. So do include walnuts and include good food dietary in your life. If you have any kind of allergics to the walnut, make sure you do your own research and find which food is actually good for you and consume that. So that will help you. And fiber food, all of this is very important for you because 7th house also can represent bowel problem, and you can issues with your motion and all of this. So we take care of that. And Saturn's strengths will be seen over time after the first Saturn return. But if lesson is not learned, then repetition will be seen in the person's life. So that's one thing, because 7th house, naturally Saturn is very much strengthened here, but we have to see, is it like any bad aspect or anything is going on here? Or if you are not learning your lesson, then yes, repetition will be happen. So focus on your life events. See, is it repetition is happening in your life? If yes, think back and write a journal which area in your life that you feel like you are not really giving important, or you seems like lack of attention focus on it. So that there it will shows why Saturn is giving that repetition in your life. So next is any sweet savory food business or clothing business do works for you only if your partner with someone who have strong Saturn or Saturn in his own house or sign. Marry that person and make business partners. So if you don't have any kind of malefic placement with Saturn here, most of the time your partner is actually someone who's your business partner as well. These are the people who can bring a lot of wealth in your life, and the moment you get married, the marriage will be very long term, very long term, be it for the good or bad. This person will definitely give lessons as well, bring wealth in your life, bring a lot of business ventures, successful business will come up. So make sure you are getting to know the person, or your partner do have a very strong Saturn. Most of the time, your partner will have it because you have Saturn retrograde in the 7th house. So this energy is very strong here. Your partner definitely coming from a very karmic partnership from your past life. So they are here to finish that past life karmic partnership with you. That's why you are literally having this placement in your life. So that's for 7th house retrograde in the 8th house. So 8th house already represents very transformative. So yes, this is very transformative life ever for you. So Saturn retrograde in the 8th house. 8th house represents very transformative phase. So in your entire life, this is going to be very transformative life ever. And Saturn in the 8th house or Scorpio can choose long life if no malefic aspects. So another thing about this Saturn retrograde in the 8th house is this can shows this person transformation will be later in life than early life. So if you face in the early life, your later life will be very much calm and then have that not too much wave is coming up. But if your early life is very much calm and not much of wave, then your later life will be very much having that fluctuation coming up. So that's for 8th house. And also this can represent if malefic aspects or conjunction happen here, then the best remedy is to focus on sports and must do workouts. This placement can represent you have to have your workout, you have to go for that sports, you have to do some sort of that physical movements to actually drain that Saturn retrograde energy through the whatever exercise that you are doing. And someone's death or even pet death can bring transformation in a person's life, especially for the people who have Saturn retrograde in the 8th house. This is something can happen in your life. Someone else or your pet's death can transform your life completely to a different person or something that you never expected at all. And don't ever gossip or even utter any bad words or intentions towards someone. It will come back 10 times back to you. Especially instant karma can be seen. Never betray anyone in your life. So 8th house can also represent this place one can test you a lot when it comes to your loyalty, when it about other people's resources, how you are managing it, or when you are given the chance to take care about someone, how you are taking care of someone. Are you cheating, or you are disrespecting them, or you have two-face? All of this will come up. All of this Saturn are testing you. to see if you are doing anything bad or you are actually doing the job that is given, the responsibility that is given to you, you are doing it correctly. When you're doing it correctly, Saturn will reward you. And 8th house also represents, don't get too attached to anyone in your life. Make sure you are taking detachments as a lesson and learn that detachment is very important in your life. So don't have that constant, very much dependent on someone, being dependency and all of this. The 8th house is not the house for that, and Saturn will always teach a lesson if you are doing that. So that is for the 8th house. For the 9th house, your belief and lifestyle will change after the first Saturn return. So there's a constant change regarding your belief, regarding your lifestyle, and whatever that is has to do with your own thoughts and wisdom that you are learning. Probably whatever that you learn in your early life, your childhood, your middle age, you will completely change and started to question everything, and then you change it, and then you become far more practical, far more logical, rather than being more religious, or you are being very much following blindly the scriptures or whatever it is. You will start to question and then see things for based from your practicality of this life. That's 9th house, and this can also represent, if this is well placed Saturn, it will make a person to be balanced between being religious, spiritual and material life. If not, this can actually make a person to be fanatic, obsessed over religion without practicality and rational thinking. So that's why I say 9th house can be the house of luck, but be very, very careful with your being too much obsessed is not good. Anything that goes too much, it's never good. So always remember that. And also 9th house represents travel and exploring new culture, and learning new language can bring fortune for you for this placement. Worshipping Shiva will happen after the 36 if you are following Hinduism. So this can happen after the age of 36, after the Saturn matures. And obviously Saturn will reward you for having that practicality and rational. Saturn is a very, very practical, and he is very much a logical man. So even if you think he is the Lord of Karma, he is still very practical and rational thinking type of the Lord. And being a teacher, if you are being a teacher in your profession, it will bring good luck in your life. You must put effort to learn. Whatever you learn, give those wisdom to others. So this is one thing about 9th house. The moment you are gaining wisdom, you have to give that wisdom to others. You can't keep it with you all the time. Saturn will be like, why? You are meant to give that wisdom to other people, to help them, to guide them in their life. So never ever disrespect teachers or any gurus or older people in your life. It will come back to you. So 9th house also represents that. Even though sometimes we can see that some old people tend to disrespect, and then they are having their bad deeds and they are uttering bad words and whatever it is, it's best to say, I would say, just ignore them and just mind your own business. That's it, rather than getting involved in that unnecessary arguments or unnecessary situation in your life. Rather than just be neutral, just ignore and focus on your life. That's for 9th house. So Saturn retrograde in the 10th house. 10th house, obviously, this is your karma related to your multiple path of career in your life. And this can also represent each stage of life requires changes of career or multiple sources of income will happen in your life. So this can represent you don't have only one path of work in your life. You have multiple paths. And each stage of life, Saturn will actually bring it to you. So if you are resistant to change, especially fixed zodiacs here, it can happen. It will be very tough for these people to actually adapt that change, but you are meant to have that change. So don't be too much focus. I wouldn't say focus. Don't be too much hold on to your career way too much. It's just only for the certain phase of your life, and then after that is change. So accept those change very specifically with your career. And chanting mantras related to the Lord of 10th house can help this Saturn placement. So look at where's the Lord of 10th house and chant that mantra. It will help you a lot. This also shows to never make friends at workplace, because for you, workplace and personal space is two different things that can be hard to keep up. So this placement, especially Saturn retrograde here, your workplace, your co-workers are not your friends. Never your friends. So make sure to have that boundaries. Make sure to have that distance. That work is work, personal life is personal life. Whatever in your personal life, don't go and talk at your workplace. And whatever that your workplace issues, don't go and talk at your personal life, personal issues. Don't bring it together. It may bring chaos in your life. So always have hobby to do rather than being completely workaholic. Self-control and have to take leadership at workplace. So this can represent, if it is not really well taken care of, this can represent this person, Saturn retrograde in the 10th house, can be very workaholic, or you tend to think about work all the time, that you forgot to live your life. So don't be like that. Always invest yourself in a good hobby, your creativity, invest on it, and spend time with your family, your partner, whoever that you are giving importance. It is very important to give them your time and your energy as well. And being workaholic, it is not really a very appreciative thing, especially Saturn here, or else Saturn will punish you. So that's for the 10th house. Next one, Saturn retrograde in the 11th house, change of desire in each stage of life. All form of income can achieve if the person learn to multitask. So 11th house represents, it is one of the desire house, and this can also represent you can have multiple sources of income if you learn how to multitask. Multi-career choice can happen, or you can have multi-career in your lifetime, like each phase of your life you have different career. So this can happen. They can have too many desires in the early phase of life, but later most of it will be dissolved, and only that matters the most stays, and they will achieve it by Saturn's grace, only if they follow Saturn's work ethic and discipline. So Saturn retrograde here, first of all, Saturn will teach you what is the goal that you can achieve, and what is that is exactly aligned with your karmic path. If it's not aligning, Saturn will actually dissolve it, or probably you yourself will realize after a certain point in your life, you will be like, I don't know, I don't really want to achieve this. I lost interest. So this can happen. And Saturn here can make the person introvert. After first Saturn returns, slowly this person's social circle will be smaller, and this can also represent the person become like probably if they are very introvert in their early life, they will become very if they are very extrovert in their early life, they become introvert in later life, because 11th house Saturn will restrict all the social circles, and only important people that tend to stay in your life, or else Saturn will remove it. So that's energy can be here, especially retrograde, when it's very intense. So this house also can represent tricky house. So Saturn will test these people by tricky, manipulative people, and teach lesson to not have too much big goals without focusing on spiritual side of life. So as I said, yes, 11th house can represent tricky house. So he will send some of the manipulative, tricky people in your life just to test you, and also teach you a lesson that to not trust anyone blindly, as well to not like have too much big goals that you can't achieve, or probably that doesn't align with your karmic path. And this placement, Saturn retrograde in the 11th house, can represent spouse, marriage will change the person's entire luck and life for good or bad. Need to, oh, okay. So this placement, 11th house, Saturn retrograde, can represent that your partner will change your life completely, and also we need to see your own individual chart. If there is any kind of malefic aspect or placement is there, then you really need to get your chart reading or your marriage reading before you getting married to someone. So that's for 11th house. Last one, 12th house, Saturn retrograde in the 12th house. This is one of the placement of interest perspective. The moment you have the inner transformation, the outer world, include physical world, will change completely. Anything to do with abroad, if the placement is good in the person's chart, will definitely work in favor for them. So 12th house, most of the time, it makes you to leave your birthplace and go somewhere very far. Saturn retrograde here represents Saturn always bring very foreign people, very much different culture, different language, different kind of ethnic, different kind of religion. These are the type of things that will work for you more than your own culture, your own ethnic people, your own language. So 12th house retrograde can also represent in your early life, it can be a bit hard for you to travel abroad, or you want to travel somewhere you don't get the proof of visas, or you have that struggle to travel. But later, after your first Saturn return, you will see that Saturn make it easier, just because your one source of income, your wealth is actually from faraway places that will coming to you. Something very unexpected. Clients, your sales is coming from foreign people, your marketing thing is coming from foreign people, your marketing that you have to do is coming from, you're doing, if you are in India, you are doing to US people, or somewhere, probably I would say Norway people, UK, all of this will be very easy for you. You just have to see that which countries actually suits with you. But most of the time, 12th house represents foreign culture and foreign people. Even your partner that you are looking for and may come from very far away places. And this can also represent that this is pretty much the placement that one source of your income is always coming from that far away places. So yeah, that's for the 12th house. So I think I have covered all of this, and yeah, so we have done with the Saturn retrograde series. So next, another few more series is coming up. Oh no, another retrograde planet. I guess I will go with just comment down which planet retrograde I should do next. So I will do it. So thank you so much for all the support. It means a lot to me, and please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, because that helps me a lot. Bye.